Hello everybody, I am live from Lone Depot Park here in downtown Miami, where today I am joined by a person I've known a long time.
Wow.
Jody Reed, welcome back. We look a lot different, don't we?
Yeah, we sure do. You with this?
Yeah, well that's okay. I don't normally take it off, but the man motorcade map off is what it is, yeah. I knew you were going to go ahead and go to that. It's no longer Peach Rose. But folks, just to give you an idea about Jody, I wrote a story on him in 1985 for the Tampa Tribune when you were playing for the Winter Haven Red Sox. And that to me, you're just another baseball lifer that I've really been able to realize that we all know in baseball, Jody, that this is a small sport when it comes to meeting people. You know,
it really is.
No matter how many times that we look at all the people around us and see those same people and relationships last forever, and you are just another classic case of that.
Well, Scott, I've been really fortunate. Of course, you know, that, believe it or not, that was actually my first year in pro ball, first full year in pro ball.
Okay.
And again, I was fortunate. You know, I got drafted by the Red Sox, but my first year was actually in the Tampa Bay area, you know, in the Florida State League. So it was a comfortable initiation. But as far as going through pro ball, and like you said, the number of people that you meet, but then again, how it cycles around. It's just so weird, you know. 25 years later, I'm back in the big leagues for the first time, and I'm going to, you know, we go into different teams come in here, and I see the staffs, and it's like it was yesterday, you know. Walt Weiss the other day came up to me, Kevin Seitzer when we were with the Braves, and it was like it was yesterday. You know, I was teammates with Seitz, I was playing against Walt, it was just a connection, and it's really interesting how those bonds, they last a lifetime. They really do.
You probably remember a good friend of mine, Mark Littell, don't you?
Not really. I don't know if I
he had the best buddy thing on the planet, and I'll tell you, you got hit down there. You definitely had something to protect yourself. I don't have to get too graphic. But I had him on a lot of my shows. You know, it was amazing. When they brought you in here, it was tough when Don Mattingly left, because he's one of those guys that I go back to the 80s with. But when I heard they brought you in here, you're wearing my number 33, I said, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, I've got an ally in this place because I know this guy and I know him a long time. So you cushion the blow of Don Mattingly leaving, and I visualized one of my projects is I'm going to get Jody before the season's up, and here we are today.
One guy out, another old guy in.
Kind of how it works.
Yeah. Well, and that was good. And as far as the 33 number, it's funny. My playing number was actually 3. But this guy came in, and I had to give it to him, Arias, of course. And so I said, all right, Louis got the number, so I'll just double it up. So, you know, he's 3, I'll be 33. I'll try to be his mentor. And so we've created a nice little relationship, and things have worked out well so far, knock on wood.
Well, you know, it's funny. I took 33 because my first Super Bowl was 33 in the Miami area, and then it gravitated that I went to 33 straight Lions games because I'm from Metro Detroit, and then the number continued to add more value. And 33 is my number. That's that. You know.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. You do get an attachment towards numbers,
don't you?
Yeah, of course you do. Probably because at some point you feel like they brought you good luck, or you've had good fortune or some success with it, so you kind of tend to hang on to them. But that's just part of the game.
All right, well, we'll talk about our old friend Don Mattingly before we track into your situation. Do you believe Don Mattingly belongs in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I would have to investigate. I know he was a really good player because obviously I played against him, you know, for many years. But you know, that's an elite. That's an elite group right there, and we have numerous talks back in the back, you know, about does this guy deserve it or not. In all honesty, I think the numbers and the longevity needs to bear out because, you know, that's not, for me, it's not a decision you take lightly. That's the elite, that's the ultimate honor in our sport, and it should be, and it is, it's a very select group, and it should be well thought out. So, certainly, you know, when you say Don Mattingly, yeah, the player, one of the tops in the game, but a little bit deeper dive for me, just to kind of, you know, check all the boxes.
I gotta ask everybody, so you're the latest in a long line that I'm doing it with. All right, let's go back to you a little bit. I remember you played at Brandon High School. Then ironically, you were playing for the Winter Haven Red Sox yet in Polk County at Channel Lakes Park, which I know is a mosquito-fest ballpark right off the lake. So what was that like in winter?
Well, in all honesty, it wasn't much different from where I grew up. I grew up like, 35, 40 miles away in Brandon, Florida, straight down Highway 60. So the climate was not difficult for me. It's Florida. If you've been in Florida, Miami, of course, we're blessed with this dome, which really makes a difference. But you're going to deal with the heat, you're going to deal with the humidity, you're going to deal with the rain, and it was comfortable. It was what I was used to. So I'll be honest with you, it didn't have the impact on me that it did on a lot of other guys.
Well, I remember when I interviewed you over at Al Lopez Field in Tampa, we had a lot of fun, and I got news for you. In '85, got a pretty good year, 289, and the people over at the East Hillsborough section of the Tampa Tribune, Branham and all those guys were hot on your day. You got to get out and talk to the guy in Al Lopez Field. So what was it actually like, not only playing for the Winter Red Sox, but I know '85 was a special year, and of course we met. That didn't hurt either.
Right. It was a fun year. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think I won the batting title in that league.
I think you did, Florida State League.
So it was a fun year, obviously. I had a good time. Al Lopez Field was actually the very first, it was the site of my very first professional game.
No kidding,
Of course, it's not there now. It's been, demolished, and Raymond James and everything is there. One fun fact, if you will, I was very nervous because obviously I'm playing in front of my, a lot of hometown people. First ground ball, First ground ball comes to me. I get it. I'm gonna try to, show them that I got a strong arm. I throw it. It goes sailing up 10 rows into the stands, bangs into the aluminum seats, makes this god-awful noise. I'm just standing there going, "Oh my gosh!" And that was my initiation into pro ball. So it was very humbling right out of the gate. But hard work, the love of the game, commitment to it, and things worked out.
I spent many times over this field, let me tell you, as a member of the Tampa Tribune. Plus, I graduated from the University of South Florida, as my ring indicates there. I'm a bull in a lot of ways. I don't wear it here, I wear a microphone inside. But anyways, as we talk about it, what was it like playing for the Red Sox from 1987 to 92? I know that was your longest stop.
Right, it was. I got drafted by the Red Sox, came up through the system, played with the big league club, and actually just came back from Fenway Park. So that was a really nice reunion. Again, going back to the feelings of just like yesterday. It just felt like I was out there playing last week. So very, very weird feeling. But brought back a ton of memories. Real quick, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
So the team bus drives up, and I'm not really paying attention to the hotel we're staying in, and we pull up, and all of a sudden, and it's late night, it's probably 2 in the morning, and I'm looking, and I'm like, wait a second, and I look, at the street across from the hotel, and it's the street that my wife was living in, the apartment there, when we met, and we ended up getting married. I told her, I said, you're not going to believe where I'm at right now. So I had to get out of the bus, I had to film the street, and it just freaked us out. So that was kind of cool. But it was always fun there. Of course, Fenway Park in itself is legendary, and for the energy and the excitement and the things that go on there, the Green Monster. So every day, you didn't have to work too hard to get motivated for the games. The city, the fans, the venue, the park, it kind of did it for you. It was very fun.
That's a bucket list item for me. I went to the Fenway South in Fort Myers, got a taste of it, and nothing like the real thing, as they say in the beverage world. And I'm not going to get into a trademark, but you know where I'm going, because GMT stands for Great Minds Think Alike. To motivate your players.
If you're a baseball fan, in all honesty, try to get up to Fenway Park, see a game. It's electric. It's a great place to be. The city's fun. So it's a good trip.
I actually overpaid to see the Yankees at Old Yankee Stadium against Tampa Bay Rays, but that was the last year.
Another good spot.
So let's talk about your other stuff in LA, Milwaukee, San Diego, Detroit. Got a Milwaukee girl, by the way.
Hey, all right.
That you played over there. So there you go. So Candy got a Milwaukee. Let everybody know back in Milwaukee that my buddy here, Jody, made a stop in the beer seat.
Yes.
Tell me about all your other stops and give me a briefing of every one of them.
went to LA, you know, enjoyed the West Coast. Of course, you know, the climate, the laid-back atmosphere. Played for the Dodgers. I actually played for Tommy Lasorda.
Oh, he's my first big interview ever.
Yeah, great.
What was that like?
It was a blast. And Tommy, you know, he was really good at just letting the players play, especially if you're a veteran. So really easy to play there. Ended up having a great time. Went to Milwaukee. Loved Milwaukee. Okay. You know, at first you're thinking, oh no, Milwaukee. You know, kind of it doesn't get the, I guess, the publicity and a lot of the promotion that some of the other places did. But once I got in there and realized this is a really nice place to play, the city's cool, the people are you know, so nice and supportive, and quite honestly found a great place to live out in the outskirts, out around here, and had a great crib out there. So it was a really good year. Of course, then the strike came, and you know, a lot of people ended up moving. I ended up going to San Diego after that. Do I need to say a whole lot about San Diego?
No, and if you bring up La Jolla, that would be nice too.
Yeah, that wasn't too tough of a place to hang my hat for a couple of years. And then finally Detroit. Of course, that was kind of like my victory tour. That was the last year. Body had slowed down, so the writing was on the wall. So I enjoyed my time there. Played a lot of golf, not gonna lie, during that season, and then ended up finally retiring.
Well, you got to know my buddy Ernie Harwell, my mentor.
Yeah, Ernie's a great guy. Oh yeah, fabulous announcer.
Yeah, he meant a lot to me. He's like a mentor to me, so I love the guy so dearly and but he taught me a lot, you know. I think he'd be proud if he saw you and I together today, that's for sure.
I'm sure he taught a lot of people a lot of things. Yeah.
Oh, no doubt. So let's talk your transition to coaching. What's it been like?
It was not difficult, and I'll tell you why. In the coaching pro ball, it's because once I retired, I took a break off from the game just to clear my head. But then I found myself gravitated back, and I ended up starting off teaching amateurs, you know, kids of all ages. And what I found was I was the one learning the most. You know, I was kind of teaching them baseball, but they were teaching me how to teach. You know, because you had to get really creative. You're teaching such a wide variety, so you have to find different ways to get through to different guys. You know, because not everything works. So that really, for me, kind of laid the groundwork to allow me, once I get into the pro side, to kind of hit the ground running. Okay. So that time spent teaching the amateur kids, and I mean kids from 8 to 18, really developed me as a coach. I thought it was very valuable.
I got 2 or 3 more questions, and I promise to wrap it up. Okay. Number one, how did you get the Marlins job, and how do you like working with Kim Ng and Skip Schumacher?
I got them. Well, I came over from the Marlins from the Yankees. The Yankees ended up going with a different style, more of an analytical base, so they were gravitating towards that. And so I got the opportunity to come over and join the Marlins, albeit it was in the COVID year, 2020. Right. So, you know, worked with the taxi squad, but didn't really get acclimated with the organization until 2021. Ended up being the infield coordinator, and so that kind of gets you an opportunity to, you know, to get a feel for the whole organization. Loved it. Loved the players down there. Built a lot of strong bonds. And then last year in the off season, I was actually up here. Skip had gotten hired, and Kim had asked me to come in and kind of talk with him, along with some other of the coordinators, about our players, you know, to bring him up to speed. And throughout the interview process, I got a call later when I was driving back home on Alligator Alley. Skip called me and said, "Hey," because we knew each other from LA. Okay. You know, and so he goes, "Hey, listen, I found myself kind of interviewing you privately in my head as you were going through," and he said, "I'm wondering why you're not on the staff. And he goes, who would you like to be?" And I said, "Well, I wasn't expecting that, but you know, let me talk to my wife. I'd love to, but of course you got to run it by the boss." So got back, you know, home, and Michelle said, "Yeah, we're at a point in our lives and stuff like that where, you know, you can commit to the longevity of a season." So So I said, Skip, I'd love to, and Kim called me the next day, and things worked out pretty rapidly, and I was a part of the staff.
2 to go, we're done. Okay, number one, thoughts about the 2023 team, and also any aspirations to manage on the road.
Let's stay with the 2023 team. You know what? We're at the halfway point today. Very, very rewarding, very enjoyable. It's enjoyable because it's been a process. You know, from again, new staff, new manager, new group coming in, having some goals, having some objectives. You know, to do with the group that was here, group of players, and you know, again, it's a process and it takes time, but I think the traits and characteristics of the staff are starting to, you know, flow over into the players, and all of a sudden you're seeing this chemistry go, and it's translating onto the field. It's exciting. Hope to continue it through the second half, and we'll see what happens.
All right, my final question. Okay, number one, what's the best roadmap to be a manager? A bench coach, third base coach, and then also, why do catchers make such good managers?
First off, I don't think there's really a roadmap anymore. You know, back before there probably was. You know, former player, cut your teeth in the minor league, AAA, and then kind of gravitate up. I don't think that's the case anymore. You know, you got managers that were farm directors, you got managers that were former players, you got managers that were GMs, for crying out loud. I mean, it doesn't matter anymore. If you fit the profile that they're looking for, we've got announcers that were, you know, managers, for crying out loud. So anyway, so I don't think that the old stereotype's gone. And probably catchers make such good managers because they're, as part of their, you know, requirements when they're playing, they are so engaged in both sides of the ball, the pitching side, and then also the offense and position player side. So that kind of forms them completely as in preparation for managing.
Well, all I can tell you this. Okay, Jody, it's been a pleasure seeing you again. I appreciate the time, and I hope you stay here a long time. And if you get a managerial job, it's well worth it.
All right, we'll see what happens.
Thank you very much,
buddy. All right.